to the Trinity Force Podcast. Yo, it's that Triforce cast beaming straight to your home. Grab a beer so we know Pone ain't drinking alone. Send an email, a quick tweet, just pick up the phone. Leave a message at the beep if you're a creep, watch your tone. Discuss the meta game, patch notes, whatever helps your stats most. Obi-Pone Kenobi is your last hope to snatch gold. So grab your headphones and join in the fun. We'll try enforcing some jokes and some cringeworthy puns. Yo, we can make it together, people. Trinity Force Podcast. These boys are second to none. Now that's the end of the intro. It's time we begun.
Now, Sean, I bring up that point pre-podcast about the number of viewers because, humorously, I realized that we could have a decent stream following if we could actually stream for more than an hour a night.
I mean, we streamed for 2 hours the other night.
Right. Woo. And if we play games, we stream for 2 hours, maybe 3. If we play on the weekends, it's 2 to 4 hours. And by the end of the 4 hours, we have a decent number of people watching the stream. However, I can't commit another 4 hours to continue to grow those numbers and keep people around. It's kind of like there's an analogy here that I'm missing, and I had it. And
Man, you're so good at analogies. This is going places.
Yes. You know, you know when you leave out a fly trap and eventually the one fly hits it and then eventually more and more flies. There's something here with bees, putting bees out and they're attracted to the other bees. I don't know. There's some kind of animal that happens too.
I think you're just grasping at insect straws right now.
I don't know anything about bees or flies, so you lost me.
Well, that's all right. We tried. Guys, you listen to episode number 430 of the Trinity Force Podcast. As you heard, Santana, Dom, and Chira are here. We're going to talk patch 7.7 this evening. I hope you guys all enjoyed the last podcast that went out before this, as it was the CLG interview. Thanks to PAX East. Again, we went out there. If you haven't seen all our interviews, go check that out on our subreddit at T-Force Network. And you can find those also on YouTube at T-Force Podcast. So I think we're probably just going to have to jump right in it this evening and start talking about patch 7.7, as there are, what'd you say, Dom, 20-some champions that got hit this patch?
Yeah, a lot of champions got hit. I don't know. I think this was a really big patch, at least relative to what we've been dealing with lately.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, relative to the size of the patches, it's definitely a larger patch.
We've had bigger, but, I mean, the last, 4 patches have been pretty small.
Mm-hmm.
So I guess we're just going to jump right into this and start talking about the jungle, because that's where all the changes start. And if you didn't see, the Raptors did get a change in this patch. Their base attack damage has gone down from 16 to 13.33 per auto attack, but their health has been increased from 350 at base to 400, and at max level they now scale up to 680, meaning that each Raptor has 50 more life.
This is a little bit harder to kill. They don't do as much damage, but it kind of levels out.
Help certain champions, hurt certain champions. Avalon gets better.
Yeah, I got nothing to add here.
Avalon gets better. Amumu gets better off this, but things like, I don't know, Nunu get way worse.
Yeah, anybody who doesn't have an AoE clear.
Mm-hmm.
Right. Is this a direct response to the LCS taking the Raptors early?
To the Korean Raptor start? Maybe. I don't know. Because the thing with starting Raptors is it's the fastest way to get it to level 4. You get it in 5 camps. If you go Race Red, Wolves, Blue, Gromp, you hit level 4 and some change off that. And then you can go invade, and you're ahead of you're outpacing your laners again really fast. So maybe.
That's probably why. That's disappointing, though, because they originally designed Raptors to work that way. Yeah. Although we quickly learned they designed the jungle to put the junglers ahead of laners, and then that really backfired. So
yeah, no, they're not changing any XP here, so you'll still hit that. It's a little bit slower now.
So yeah, there you go. Just keep that in mind as you're doing it. You may take Raptors a little bit more slow early than you would previously. Actually, probably at all points in the game. But the champions that got changed, we'll go roll into top lane now. So I guess we're starting at the top of the map and moving our way down. So Camille has had a change. Her tactical sweep, it no longer heals for up to 10% of her maximum health when tactical sweeps outer half damages minions or monsters. So no more free sustain in lane through W.
This feels unnecessary.
I don't know. I mean, Camille's still that champion that I look at her and I'm like, why does she have so many things in her kit still? And I think this is probably the best place to get it.
She's really, I think she's a really good champion and everything, but, her play rate and win rate have really settled down, and she's not really she's not getting banned every single game anymore. I don't know. To me, this seems unnecessary.
This is a pro play nerf because she's still first pickable like a lot of the time.
Does it make more sense to tone the healing itself down instead of just removing it altogether? It just it seems like this is going to have too big of an effect on Camille's play for the everyday player.
I don't think so, because I don't think the everyday player was using that 10% heal through W to sustain in lane. So just removing it helps the everyday player because they're not missing out on a free kit, and then it nerfs the pro players.
I mean, but removing it affects it across the board. Like, that's just something that's completely missing. This is going to hurt regardless of where you sit. Yes, people that are already going to be better at a champion, yes, they're going to get a bigger benefit out of having more tools to work with, but removing tools hurts overall regardless.
And the other thing here, I've talked about this before with Camille, is she's also one of the few melees that gets to start Doran's Blade because of her W. She doesn't have to start Corrupting Pot like things like Talon, and Jax can start Doran's Blade, but but she was one of the few that could get away with it. Now she can't, or if she does, she's severely hurt. She gets poked out level 1, 2. Camille's her laning phase was never the strongest part. Like, if she gets to 2 items, she's still a monster split pusher that people aren't going to be able to deal with. But they're attacking her laning phase more because that's where she's going to be weakest, and I think that's fine. I don't think she should be able to get through lane without any problems and then become this monster at 2 items that no one can deal with at the split push, similar to Jax.
Yeah, there needs to be some weakness somewhere. I agree with you. I don't think toning down the amount of health that you're gaining back, because you're not necessarily gaining a lot of health back because you're not building that much health on Camille anyway, outside of if you're building Trinity Force, you're picking up health through Phage, right? So
Trinity Force, Titanic, and then usually you go tank after that.
Mm-hmm.
But
I don't know. I think this fucks her over for most solo queue players.
I still think she's pretty good, but we'll see.
Right. At Hextech Ultimatum, duration 4 seconds at all ranks. It is now scales from 2.5 to 4. And it's a needed change. There should be no ultimate that just. And I won't say no ultimate, but the majority of ultimates shouldn't just have a flat duration.
A flat long duration.
Mm-hmm.
I like this change because the early ranks, like especially when you were solo, in the 1v1 scenario and everything, like being stuck in there with her for 4 seconds was basically a death sentence and everything. Later in the game, like if you use it well and you get that full 4 seconds off, awesome. But like you should be rewarded for that because there are going to be a lot of things coming at you that could otherwise interrupt it. But early game, it was just too punishing.
Yeah, mm-hmm. It never felt like what they wanted to make it an arena. Right, you set up this arena to duel the person you're dueling, and you have no chance to dodge or duel them because the arena area is so small anyway. I mean, you run to the corner and just hope that it ends before you die, or you hope that you get enough heals and it ends before you die. So, I agree. I like this change, and does it? I'm still not sure if it takes it out of pick ban out of top lane for pro players, but I do think that she's still decent enough that you should be playing her.
She's fine in solo queue
if you're good with her.
Yeah.
I think pro play, it's totally not going to knock her out. But that's just the nature of pro play. Something gets hit hard enough like this, they just say they move on to the next 3 strongest champions on the list. Mm-hmm. I mean that's just how pro play works. So then they'll buff her back up and she'll get played again.
Or so we say. Didn't we say that
we'll
about
see.
Fiora? Fiora was dominant for a really long time, ate the nerfs, then never really saw pro play again.
She's still a niche pick, but every now and then.
The niche picks are whatever.
Yeah, she's not overbearing.
Fiora also hasn't been buffed or anything. It's not that's what I was saying. Get nerfed and then eventually they get buffed and then they cycle right back into the pro rotation.
I think Fiora is sitting in probably the healthiest spot of a lot of the bruisers right now, just because you can do a lot of great stuff with her if you know what you're doing, and she has that really nice balance of damage and tankiness.
She's like the other Riven in high elo, where you'll see a lot of
tankier Riven.
Well, kind of. They've been building a lot of Triforce lately, but
I would rather have Fiora than Riven almost any day.
Depends, but yeah.
That might just be speaking to the quality of the player that you run into, though.
Sure.
Yeah, you're just
that's fair.
The quality of player rather than the quality of the champion, because like you said, Riven can definitely be tankier with the the right quality of player and through how her shield scales. So,
Right.
Let's talk about Galio. I've been complaining about Galio recently quite a bit.
Yeah, Adam, how do you really feel about Galio and the fact that you think he should be banned in every game that you're in?
I do think he should be banned right now. I think he's too powerful.
He's pretty good.
I think that these changes start bringing him back. Specifically the Winds of War change, that was probably my biggest complaint. The fact that it was doing 9% of the target's maximum health, and now they've scaled that back to 6. But they've given it a larger ability power ratio up to 0.75. So trying to force him more into that, again, mid lane counter mage role. But 9% of the target's maximum health on an ability that has a relatively low cooldown was too much.
I mean, and I think the passive changes is actually the more important of the two. They cut the damage down from 15 to 100 down to 12 to 80. Like, you get a lot of applications of that passive just because the cooldown is cut by 4 seconds every time you cast a spell. So, I mean, like, you're getting a lot of free damage, like, pretty regularly in even really short duration fights. And that was pretty significant. So, that's a good spot to hit him.
I agree. Winds of War is probably a little too strong. Like 9% is a gigantic number. But I feel like when I'm worried about Galio, when I was playing against it the couple times I've seen it, I wasn't like, oh man, Galio blew me up. It's Jesus Christ, his damage reduction on his W.
Oh yeah.
What? It's 8% per 100 bonus MR, in addition to the flat numbers he has. So by the time you're getting into later game team fights, you're looking at almost 56 damage reduction on W. That's so much.
And the damage reduction going through on his ult to the ally and everything, like, I did not fully appreciate how useful that was, but
which also scales with bonus magic
the last couple games I've played with him, I was proactively using it to just try and save a teammate, and it absolutely kept them alive. Like, I'm so used to shields and heals being the only way to do it, but that big amount of damage reduction, it was a difference maker. I did not fully appreciate how useful that was going to be. He's a lot of fun to play. He's a good champion. And to that point, right now he's being seen in 4 different roles, like, pretty reliably. He's in top about 35% of the time, jungle and support 25% each, and then mid 15% of the time. But that's still like a really good split for one champion.
Yeah,
which I think is successful.
I think the rework's successful. I think the champion is good. I do believe that we'll see more of the champion, but there needs to be some tweaks like this one coming through before the champion's in a balanced state.
I would really like them to be careful, because I would love to see Galio be this champion that fits into 4 different roles, like, successfully. I don't want to see them try to pigeon him into mid or top lane or something like that.
See, you say that, but every time that comes up and he does well in more than like 2 spots, they just decide, this is the focus we're going with. Let's roll, baby.
Yeah, I mean,
look at Camille. Camille was seeing play out of 4 roles, and then they nerfed 2 of the things that made her good out of mid and bot, and now Camille's mainly a top laner. I think the same thing will happen to Galio over time.
Oh yeah, we'll see. I think we'll see another Galio nerf, not next patch, but maybe a patch after the patch even after that. I think we'll see something else, but it just obviously depends how players are playing him and what becomes abused.
What we see and what I want us to see can be 2 different things.
And that's fine.
And I don't want him to get pigeonholed. That's all I'm saying.
So Rumble, the other top laner in this patch, they're going to change. His Electro Harpoon recharge time has been increased by 1 second to 6 seconds. It was pretty much, go figure, that putting it on a ammo system made the ability too powerful, and so
they needed to do something to Rumble.
It's amazing it took this long for them to turn. It always takes them so long to look at Rumble,
because they love Rumble, because he's one of the few AP top laners that exists. I mean,
that always comes back into the meta.
Right. Well, because when Rumble's strong, he just destroys every melee match.
He does what he feels like doing.
Yeah, he does whatever he wants top lane, and then he goes like even in the range matchups because he can farm with E if he's really struggling.
And when he's weak, it's only because he got nerfed recently, and he's not actually weak. People are just frustrated that he got nerfed, and so they move on to the next flavor of the month. But turns out Rumble was still really, really good. Like, it didn't matter.
He's one of the handful of champions that gets really powerful with cheap items. Haunting Guise and Sorcerer's Shoes, for example, just getting a ton of Magic Pen makes him really powerful at it. And Spike, and that Spike it's not even a spike, it's like a nice big curved out hill as he continues to gain more and more power throughout the game.
Yeah, and when we had the AP item changes mid-season last year, when Zonia's got cheaper, Rylai's is now cheaper again because they changed how that works.
All the items that he wanted, they added cooldown reduction to it. They added the one thing that he was having a hard time getting access to.
Well, you got to be careful with CDR on Rumble because you will overheat real quick. But it's it's super nice when your ult's on the 40% CDR cooldown.
Yeah.
Well, let's move into the jungle because it's one of the changes on the patch that's one moment. I have a child coming up here. Very beautiful child. I love it. Does everyone want to see Nikki's drawing? I'm sorry.
Oh boy.
For the listeners.
Why is that rabbit stealing that egg?
Why is the rabbit a thief?
Yeah, why is that rabbit an assassin?
For those of you in podcast land, Nikki drew me a rabbit that has it looks like Donatello. He's wearing a purple Donatello headband around his eyes, or eye band. Mm-hmm. And it's very cute, Nikki. Very good job. I love it. Good night, child. She just waves at me. All right, back into the jungle. Let's talk.
Where the rabbits belong.
Yes, exactly. Great segue. Good job. Amumu getting touched in this patch.
Getting curse touch in this patch.
Oh.
Dom, it's your turn. Come on, Dom.
Come on, Dom.
The bad touch. Curse is a sad mummy. Man, you guys are making me a sad mummy.
Dom just wants no part of this.
I want no part of it.
Despair.
I've never wanted any part
Dom
of
just
this.
wants us to get wrapped up.
Oh.
Hey,
can we stop this and just talk about the fucking mummy?
Passive curse touch. His new passive now every time he auto attacks or he casts his ultimate, he applies a passive to the enemy that causes 15% of all magic damage dealt to the target to be dealt again as true damage.
How long does that last?
3 seconds, and it reapplies through despair.
Which ticks every half second now.
So good.
Yeah, that's insanely good.
So
this is amazing.
That's such a problem if Amumu gets into your group.
And that's the thing he's best at doing.
Yeah. I just want to see a top lane Swain, an Amumu, and
any mid laner. Any mid. I mean, there are 4 mid laners who don't care about this.
Well, it's not even
and the rest of them are like, yes.
It's not even just mid laners. People like Corki. Corki could work really well with this, right? Because he does 50%. Twitch does a lot of magic damage through his passive. There's a lot of champions who have magic damage.
True damage through his passive.
We also kind of forgot that
Yeah, it does do a little bit of true damage, doesn't it? You're right.
It does do true damage.
We also kind of forget that Zyra, Brand, and Karma are still really popular supports.
Right.
Yeah. No, I mean, this is
Adam
amazing.
Play AD, APC Ziggs.
Yeah,
Ziggs is a thing.
He says that, but I have bad experiences with him doing that. So.
Sean was like, I want somebody else to play an AP top. I said, don't worry, buddy. I'll play APC Kennen or Ziggs. I got this.
Oh, please no.
Also, nothing about this, the way this reads, suggests to me that Amumu also doesn't benefit from it.
No, he does.
So Despair, now, you auto-attack something or you are. Now, all of a sudden, Despair is doing all this bonus...
percentage health, true damage.
This is a really good... I mean, this is a huge set of changes. I think, if he was not in your roster and you're below plat, you need to add him. And if he was on your roster, you need to bump him up to, second.
Oh, yeah, he's... I think he's... Yeah.
He's
fantastic.
He still has some really terrible matchups. I don't like blind picking Amumu.
But for lower MMR players, that's not going to be nearly as big of a deal.
Yeah, bad matchups mean very... Yeah. It might matter if there's...
It's a different story in plat and above, but below plat, this is just, honestly, just pick Amumu and climb.
Sure.
Oh, yeah.
Pick Amumu and go until you can't go any farther. That's all there is to it. Yeah. I like that.
Despair, the damage has been increased. It was 8 to 24 damage per second. It's now 10 to 30 damage per second. It now ticks every half second rather than every second. So they did this before with Rumble as well. His Q was ticking every half second.
Mm-hmm. And that helps reapply.
Yes, and it reapplies Curse Touch.
It also reapplies Leandries, and he's never taken Deathfire Touch, so...
No, he shouldn't.
No, it's helping Rylai's and shit. What's the other? Well, he doesn't need that. It's really helping just Rylai's stick to the target.
Rylai's. If you're really, 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 really rich, maybe a Leandri's.
Yeah.
Right. And again,
but you don't even you don't actually need that. Is the thing. I mean, you're already dealing a ton of percent health damage.
But if you wanted to just be silly, you could do it.
Now you're dealing percent of health true damage.
Yep.
Isn't W his
true damage to your true damage?
Isn't his W his last max anyway? Doesn't he go like EQ?
Yeah. He does.
Yeah.
All right. So the damage doesn't matter as much until like 18, I guess. But
I mean,
the tick rate's nice.
It's still 15% extra as a flat thing is still a nice little bonus.
Oh, no,
even if the damage is low on that. Like, and to be perfectly honest, with that just reapplying, like the damage on it, yes, it gets even better. It's going to be even better against everybody late game. But like, just the fact that it reapplies it all the time is still fucking good on its own.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's worth mentioning here that this passive applies to everything. It's not just champions. So like this helps out his jungle clear too.
Oh yeah, quite a bit. And an extra 2 damage per tick helps out his jungle clear quite a bit, especially if
and then Tantrum is going to be dealing like all kinds of bonus extra damage.
Still need blue, but
he's a very blue dependent mid laner.
I mean, see, you say that, but you can just get a potion too and roll through the jungle without really carrying either. I mean, it's kind of one or the other. Yes, blue is going to always be huge on him, but there are ways around that too.
They've done a good job of making it so you don't need blue anymore to clear the jungle.
Yeah,
jungler.
For real, it's awesome. First clear might be a little wonky if somebody steals it, but other than that, it's okay.
Right. Curse of the Sad Mummy applies Curse Touch to enemies after the damage has been dealt. So meaning you automatically get Curse Touch.
I'm happy they did it this way so we didn't see a bunch of one-shot Amumu builds. Because that was a thing for a little bit. I remember that popping up beginning of season. People were just stacking AP on Amumu for no reason.
But I mean, if Amumu was able to like band-aid in, smack somebody, and then ult, it's still going to be able to do that.
Yeah, no. Yeah, he has to get the auto in, but usually you could flash out of it. But
yeah. What I like about this is that especially the despair stuff, like it kind of, his kit feels like it's working together now, whereas before you had to rely on your teammates understanding how Amumu's passive worked in order for it to really, like, you still need that now, but now you can hit somebody and then have despair running and go and hit somebody else, and the enemies are going to still keep taking a whole bunch of extra damage.
Mm-hmm.
So can we say Amumu is finally going to make friends?
No.
He's going to scare people away.
I think he's made a lot of friends in this patch. All right, well, let's talk about Graves, Santana's favorite solo queue jungler.
I love Graves.
Graves sucks ass. Q,
Graves is so good.
True Grit no longer grants magic resist per stack. Good
change. Why not? You know what? They have to do something to Graves instead of him being the best all-around jungler. Now he's slightly worse into AP matchups, and that he has to build Hex Drinker or Maw. Oh no.
Still.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like it's more targeted at his early durability. They specifically call out Elise as somebody you should be, picking in the Graves now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I still think that comes down to skill, but Elise is a little bit better against Graves.
Boy, Elise has been terrorizing my games lately.
Elise is so good. She's, with the Rengar nerfs, I think she jumps Rengar in my tier list.
Oh, I'm sure
she does, Graves Elise for 1-2. But yeah. Graves is still really, really good. Adam hates him, but that's okay. He can be bitter about all the terrible Graves he has on his team.
That's the only problem.
That's just because Adam, you just wish you could still play him as an ADC.
I still will play him as an ADC.
I mean, the thing I think people think Graves is really easy to play or something, and no, you have to know what the fuck you're doing. You can't just pick Graves and win.
Because the thing about Graves is it's really if you remember how strong Nidalee was last year, it's not about that you have like insane gank pressure or anything. You literally go and you take every single camp on the map and make sure the other jungler does nothing. And then you get to a point where you're so farmed and far ahead of the other laners, you one-shot them.
Well, and it's also if you sit in a bush and somebody walks by and you catch them, they die most of the time too. So it's this, you have the benefit of you you get to win a whole lot of matchups if people run into you, and that in itself curries a lot of power.
On top of the fact he takes literally no damage in the jungle, so he's able to go and invade because he's pretty much at 100% health all the time.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So 4 years in the making, Jarvan finally gets the buff that I wanted to see him get. 4 years. That's all I've been waiting for. So the base shield has been increased from 50 to 170. Again, this is his W. It is now 65 to 165. Yay, it might be useful, but wait, there's more. Bonus shield per champion hit now scales off Jarvan 4's maximum health instead of a flat amount. So it is now 2 to 4% of Jarvan's maximum health per enemy champion hit. Thank you. Thank you,
So
Riot.
if you dive into the middle of a lot of people and hit W, you get a huge shield.
Regardless, or if you dive into one person, you get a huge shield because it's not per champion.
It
is per. It is.
It's per
Yeah,
champion.
it's per champion.
It makes 80 Jarvan worse, makes tank Jarvan better.
It doesn't make 80 Jarvan. I mean, yes.
It does make 80 Jarvan worse.
It
It makes lethality Jarvan worse.
Yes,
you can't
sort
argue
of.
that.
Hold on. What's his? I guess I need to see what his base HP is.
Right. Like he's not like usually because the old lethality build was like Ghost Blade into Tiamat or something. So I forgot what Ray was doing, but
I will accept it makes him worse, but I will accept it with a grain of salt because it depends what your definition of worse is. How often was that shield saving you?
You're seeing him
True.
built more tanky right now anyway, and Titanic Hydra is really, really good on him as well. So like, with the way that he was already starting to be built more often, this is going to help that out quite a bit because he's just going to get his health is going to go farther is what it comes down to. If he aggressively
even
goes in.
4% of his base health is still
A chunk.
Yeah, I mean that's got to be pretty close.
yeah. I think the thing Jarvan really needs,
You're losing 15 health.
and that we always kind of forget, is you can flash Jarvan ult damage. If you change that, Jarvan gets much better, like a lot.
So it works
better.
like Zyra, where the damage is dealt and then the effects.
Right. Because right now, like if Jarvan goes to ult you have so much time. You're just like, all right, I'm just gonna flash out of this, and he does nothing now.
Right.
Cool.
Sidebar. That's one of the most fun things about Zyra is that you cast the ult and the damage is dealt, but everybody is trying to scramble out of it because they think the damage is coming from the knockup, and they're like, "How did I die? I didn't get hit by the knockup." It's like, no, you got hit by the ult. You got hit by the cast, motherfucker.
It's too sneaky and stupid. It shouldn't. The damage.
It shouldn't work that way. It's not clear at all, but.
Well, let's talk about Nunu, because he's had. I hate to say the word
Nunu.
interesting, because that's what I use every time, but it's just it is an interesting change. They're trying to make Nunu relevant, and I will go through everything, but I'll say I could go through everything, but it doesn't matter because it's fucking Nunu, and I still don't think he's going to terrorize anybody.
Nunu is still seeing a decent amount of pick. Like he's still. I mean, he's the 8th winningest jungler before the patch, so...
I will eat my words, because we said this the last time that Nunu got changed, and he terrorized the fuck out of Summoner's Rift.
Yeah, I was about to say...
Bad, so.
I was about to say, some shit was talked last time, and then he became unmanageable for like a week and a half before they changed some shit.
I do remember that.
Yep.
They have nerfed his base health down to 575 from almost 600. It was just shy of 600. Base health regen has been decreased from 8.4 to 7 per 5, so he's a little squishier. But they have now made it so that when you get his passive stacked, when you use the next ability in your kit, it gains a bonus to it because they wanted you to decide how to use his passive instead of, okay, I have passive, let's use it in the most powerful spell I have, or the most cost-intensive spell I have.
And it's worth noting that this still retains the old no mana cost portion as well.
Okay, so it's just added stuff onto it. That's kind of cool.
Yeah.
According to Reddit, I didn't see if there's been a reply to that thread, but apparently some of his base stats that they didn't get documented, but they got nerfed because of the extra damage added to this passive. They were saying
like some damage off Q. Yeah.
If that's the case, then this is a shitty set of changes.
Oh yeah, because they cite that they want more decision making in what spell you're going to use on Nunu, right? The thing is if I'm walking the lane, the gank, I'm not waiting until Visionary's up to cast my E for the extra movement slow or the damage. I'm literally just casting it as soon as I'm in range.
Right.
Not to mention his kit's already super simplistic. So this doesn't.
there wasn't a lot of decision making to be had in it.
Yeah, I mean,
but that's what they're trying to add is some decision making with respect.
But I don't think this does that.
I think the issue is that
it complicates
you either get forced into a situation where now instead of using consume and then running to the lane, now you have to sit there and finish it. Yeah, you have to sit on it and then really slow yourself down if you want to actually take advantage of Ice Blast.
If you know you're going to gank, you might end up just waiting that extra whatever amount of time to get the passive up from smacking stuff, just because it might be that important to use.
I mean, I do wonder if this helps lane Nunu out a lot more.
I think the E damage is still too low because that was the problem with
that.
Was
Nunu. That was the thing with lane Nunu. You could just buy a tier or do something like you could build a
you
row
think the
or
what
something
damage
like
is
that.
Too low?
The E damage.
The E damage is too low because
since
they essentially half the damage, but it decreased the cooldown of it.
Right, but no. So now think of it like now, if you're using it with Visionary, when you're used to having rank 1, you are actually now hitting your opponent with rank 2 E.
That's fine, but that's still.
But that's why I'm saying, like, does this because all of a sudden now it's hitting that much harder with no additional cost, just a timing thing to Nunu?
I don't think so.
Does that help his laning out?
I don't think so.
I mean, it maybe
because what you're literally saying was the problem with Nunu sort of gets fixed by this change, or with lane Nunu.
Well, the other thing with lane Nunu was he's also really dependent on the other champions in the game and what's getting picked in the meta. And right now we're seeing a lot of Bork AD carries. And while the movement speed off Blood Boil is nice for those, it's not as like we have a ton of like Jinx or what's another good example here? Vayne running around that would like kill for that movement speed. Or movement speed and attack speed. So I don't think you're going to see like a resurgence of lane Nunu because I also think he has terrible laning matchups right now anyway.
He won't. Yeah, he doesn't do well in the Rumble, for example. He just
although you might.
Shit out of lane.
Hey, if you hit level 16, you can do some cheesy things with Ryze ult again by getting 1375 max damage on your ult. So go for it.
That scales like a motherfucker too.
Yep,
ability
there you
power.
go.
Yeah, instead of
get a 3K Nunu ult off.
Don't email me about this, people who are listening. But if you want to know the changes, you can look them up. But just assume they do everything that they do now better by just a small margin, right?
Yeah.
That's how you can look at this. If you are a Nunu player, you want to see the changes, I would look it up. But each piece does each for example, I'll just do this. Ice Blast now does an extra 40 damage and adds 5% movement slow speed with every rank. Or well, sorry, the damage goes up, but still.
It's just an addition onto what was already there.
Right.
Yeah.
But
I said this one is too hard. It's too hard to tell. I think the sight be seen. But with people like Amumu running around, we'll have to see how fast Amumu clears, for example, and how big the Raptor changes on those players that are on those champions that are already jungling. I'll be curious to see how well he does into those champions after they have some time to AoE clear. Does that make sense?
You know what, Dom? I'm gonna try lane Nunu again, and I'll let you know.
So I mean,
how it
like, if all of the stuff got nerfed at the early ranks, like it was, like has been documented, then this is a terrible set of changes,
right.
and I think they're really bad. If that was an accident and they're going to hotfix him or readjust him in the next patch or something like that to make it in line with what it's supposed to be, I'm cautiously optimistic about these, even in his seemingly dead support play. Like there are some intriguing things going on here, especially with like his ability to early bully. I don't think it brings him like back into like competitive play by any means, but you can pull some shit now that he hadn't been able to do for a really long time because of the previously discussed like damage nerfs.
I have to cut you off. Riot Access came in the thread and said, "This is our bad. The changes that you're seeing on live are intended." And what are
then he's garbage. Then forget it. He's garbage.
Whoops.
I had to go look it up. So yes, they didn't make it in the patch notes, but yes, they nerfed the base ranks of. It sounds like everything. Well, no.
So they kind of did what they did to when Jace got the extra ranks on his skills. They kind of lowered his stats on those per rank. So that's kind of what it seems like they did to Nunu.
We'll follow up with Nunu once we have some details on what didn't get documented.
Right now, right now the only thing that's not documented was that Q does 60 less damage to make up for the fact that you get a free Q through your passive. That's all that's been reported.
Then that's not too bad for the other parts of Nunu. It does hurt his jungle pretty bad.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, let's talk about Rengar. He's been the terror of the LCS and potentially some solo queue games. I haven't really seen him, but I'm sure he's out there and being played. I have like a fruit fly. It's really annoying. Rengar, Savagery. Damage per strike has been decreased by 10 at all ranks. The ratio per strike has been, or I won't say significantly decreased, but decreased by 0.1 at all ranks. It was 0.3 to 0.7 and is now 0.2 to 0.6.
And that's bonus attack damage. Yeah, Rengar's still good. This change doesn't matter that much. That's about it. I mean, Rengar's going to keep popping up on patch notes until he's unplayable, I think.
The empowered damage is still unchanged too, so this is just for base queues.
Yeah. And when they did the Rengar rework, they made his combo a lot more reliable and a lot easier to hit. So I don't think this damage matters that much.
I am in fan of any nerfs to any and every nerf to Rengar. Fuck that champion. Get him out of here. So good. I'm glad this happened.
Yeah.
All
Pretty
right.
short one.
Shaco has some changes. Passive backstab. They added a 0.4 ability power ratio, and they reduced the attack damage ratio to 1.3 total attack damage at all levels, rather than scaling from 1.2 to 1.45. But the big change is Q Deceive no longer has base damage added to it. It no longer has a 0.4 ability power ratio, and the cooldown has been increased.
Man, they just said fuck Shaco on this one. Good God.
They said let's really just gut his Q.
God.
So the thing with Shaco, right, is they when they were talking about nerfing Shaco, they were getting annoyed that Shaco was building as a bruiser. He was going like Tiamat into Triforce into Titanic. And what this change does is it literally makes him go Tiamat into Triforce into the Titanic because he has no incentive to like go for the risky like high AD build because he's not getting anything off it now. His ratio got lowered. He lost the bonus damage on Q. Now he has to be tankier because his Q's on a longer cooldown earlier.
And you weren't putting points into it early, right? That was your second max ability.
I believe it was your second max. I think you maxed E first. Don't quote me. I don't play Shaco, but this is just me talking about Shaco, and I fucking hate Shaco. I'm glad he's getting nerfed because Jesus Christ, but
I hate it is kind of stealth champions in the game and no way to reveal them. So I fucking hate Shaco. You heard me bitch about him many podcasts ago. Any change is a good change.
I definitely think Shaco is one of those solo queue things where
it hits him hard. There was
a lot.
He was getting a lot of damage from his Q, and he is.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
you're losing 80 damage on it when you're maxed it.
Right.
But I mean, those AP Shaco builds that everybody was running, and now I mean, maybe they'll still do it for the backstab bonus. But
I think those mostly died out. I think like obviously Pink Ward still plays him top lane, but you were seeing less of that a couple patches ago. When he got changed.
I was gonna say, didn't they nerf his ability power ratios?
Yeah, they nerfed his ratio. So again, you saw this like monstrous tankish Shaco that does a ton of damage, and he's invisible all the time, and he just clears pretty quick, and he takes no damage on his clear as well, like Graves. So yeah, he was really, really strong. I still think he's probably fine, but not overbearing.
Sucks to be a Shaco player.
Sucks. Yep. Sorry. Volibear, Thunderclaws, max bounces was 4. It is now 8. Now
that's huge.
There's now a small delay between bounces. Thunderclaws is better at searching for additional targets before ending the chain early.
Still not a champion.
Yeah. We used to say that Volibear was probably the best learner jungler champion, and I think that
and then they
has
changed
now
the
been
jungler.
They nerfed him randomly.
Yeah. So, yeah, it doesn't really change anything. If you're playing him in Bronze and Silver and you like him and you're doing well, you know what? You just got maybe he got a little bit better for you. But
he got better in team fights. Congratulations.
Yeah, he got much better in team fights.
Poor Volibear.
One last jungler in this Zach fixed a bug where flashing right after casting E Elastic Slingshot would change Zach's position and remove the range indicator, but the damage and knockup would still be applied in the original location.
That's pretty big, actually.
Yeah. And yet they put that in the bug section. I'm like, no, that's important. Let's talk.
Yeah, because he gets the knockup now because like Camille can flash her E and get the damage, but she won't get the stun. This is huge for Zach if he gets the knockup as well.
You know, Dom, I liked it better before you fixed Bloblets right there. Bliblets was pretty great.
That one's on Riot. I just copied and pasted. So
Also fixed a rare bug where Zach's passive could sometimes cause him to instantly revive and potentially revive a second time if he's killed again before his bloblets recombined.
Did anybody else ever see that?
No.
I've never seen that.
I've
just
never seen it.
But hey, you know what? I guess that's...
He's a popular enough champion that I felt like we had to at least mention it.
He's definitely probably one of the better tank junglers right now. Him and Gragas, I guess.
Hecarim.
Hecarim, yeah. Hecarim builds Triforce, though. He doesn't count.
Yeah, he doesn't. Mid lane Cassided. W Netherblade. Netherblade's empowered attack is no longer cancelled if its target leaves range during its windup. E Force Pulse cooldown decreased to 5 seconds from 6. Rift Walk 0.2 ability power to 0.3.
Ryan mentioned it in their flavor text for this one, but I'm also pretty nervous about these changes because anytime Cassidin
the light of day,
anytime he gets good, all of a sudden he's really, really good and terrifying. So nothing about this screams, "Hey, we have to ban him every game now," but he is historically a champion where just a little bit of love
causes a whole lot of pain.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, the Rift Walk ratio doesn't matter as much because he's generally a pretty low AP champion. He builds Roa into Lichbane and Zonias. He's generally can't get Death Cap. The one that matters more is Force Pulse.
Right.
Because in team fights, that's up instantly, and now it's going to be up constantly because of all the spell rotations and the lower cooldown. And that's his main damage tool, because in a lot of matchups, you would go 3 points Q, and then you would max E. You wouldn't even max Q all the way.
And a lot of the items he's going for just have cooldown reduction on there, so he's not going out of his way to get it. So,
I thought Cassidin was actually in a pretty good spot. He had some nice lanes. Yeah, he's never going to be able to blind. If you're able to blind pick Cassidin, they have done something horribly wrong. So
90% Cassidin jail.
Season 3. Oh, that was something.
So yeah, just cautious about these changes. What the site be seen. Katarina Ishunpo cooldown has been increased from 10 to 8 to 14 to 8. So increase it
early. Yeah, she's got to be more careful early.
Good.
I think. Yeah, she can't be careless. I don't know if this was super needed, but I guess some people still think Katarina's like really, really strong. She's good, but
to me, I keep seeing mid laners lose to Katarina early. I don't understand exactly how it's happening because to me, everything seems pretty telegraphed. So either they're just assuming, making the mistake and assuming the Katarina player doesn't know how to play Katarina and then letting her run roughshod on them, or
they're surprised by her damage or something.
Yeah. Passive damage is still really high. It's also, again, I talked about this 4 patches ago when they were nerfing Katarina originally, about the clarity of the daggers moving to her location and stuff. So they think they're out of range. As you play more against more Katarina, it becomes more clear. So I guess this is fine. Yeah, she's got a little more time in between her all-in at level 2, and you can flash away right away instead of just waiting and instantly dying. So.
Adam, I feel like we keep getting just quadruple ganked, but among those gankers is a Katarina who got to leave mid lane with no regard to our mid laner's not even paying attention.
We don't have a mid laner. He's AFK tonight, so it's just like he's AFK at every team fight that ever happens.
Wow,
that's aggressive.
That is.
And
well, maybe he'll be able to do something if he plays Lux, because Final Spark has been changed. If Final Spark kills an enemy champion, 10, 30, 50% of its remaining cooldown is refunded. So TLDR, 15-second ultimate at max rank.
TLDR lasers for everybody if you kill somebody.
ARAM Nightmare, solo queue. I guess. Sure.
If it bumps her up and... because she can do some interesting things. I mean, I don't know. I honestly don't know what this ends up doing. Because the type of players that gravitate towards Lux tend to be really, really bad with her and won't be able to use this properly.
Well, that's the thing. If you get going on Lux now and you're killing people with your ultimate, you're gonna be killing more people with your ultimate all the time.
True.
So this is its own snowball mechanic in itself that they just tacked on to an ability that if it hits you hurts.
It does feel like you're going to lose a lot of those cases where people might start a fight with that, with the ability, because now everybody's going to want that bonus cooldown reduction.
It's going to feel good to snipe people from the river, though, if you're heading down toward a lane and you just pick somebody off. It's like, okay, I'll have it up again in 26 seconds when I want to kill the mid laner.
I mean, red side Lux gets better because she was always really good at kind of playing around Baron and denying and getting picks right there. This wasn't Lux's problem, though. I don't think it was her ult that was like holding her back. It's her gigantic mana costs and her relatively high cooldowns for a mid lane mage.
Yeah, on everything except humorously her ult.
Yeah. Because like if you got into a battle with Lux, like I'm gonna
she
shove.
Missed anything, and you got into a fight with her, like I mean, if she missed not just binding, but if like she missed binding and E, she gonna die. Yeah.
On top of if you're playing like the wave push battle in mid, you just shove Lux in all day, and if she has to shove back, she's gonna have to base first because her mana costs are ridiculous.
Right.
So, I think Lux is still like, I mean. She's there. She's a mid lane champion. She can be played. I don't think this makes her like way better.
No,
way
I don't think this moves her up and everything. But I mean, fuck, if you're trying to figure mid lane out, give her a try.
Yeah. It's a reminder that she exists in the game.
Well, just like Elementalist Lux or another.
She's still my favorite mid laner. So fuck you guys.
Syndra had some changes. Unleash Power. Unleash Power's cooldown is no longer reset if the first cast was interrupted. If Syndra's target dies mid-cast, remaining Dark Spheres will continue to pummel their corpse. If Syndra's target becomes untargetable during Unleash Power, Dark Spheres that were in flight now drop in place. So all direct buffs to Syndra, because that's what she needed.
I just found it funny. Like, and we're buffing Syndra.
Yep. Here's all of the orbs. Here's all of it. Use them to stun the enemy team.
So do you like really hate her now?
I don't hate Syndra. She's just so overbearing sometimes.
Sorry, that was targeted at Adam, and because I had a specific follow-up point, and that's the other reason I'm asking.
Because I used to play Syndra mid lane. Is that what we're going here for?
Yeah, basically, like you used to be like, yeah, get on, like play Syndra, and just climb, and now are you like fuck Syndra?
Yeah, now that I play ADC, fuck Syndra.
Of course, that's how this works.
Massive outplay of hitting R.
Yeah.
Sorry, this is what I was trying to get us to.
Gratz, you didn't even press Q or W or E. You just pressed R on me, and I died.
You didn't need to. Working as intended.
That's all that is. You son of a bitch.
Man.
Talon, the other useless champion in this game, who's actually decently good in the right hands, but still useless.
That I don't know if you needed to preface things with that.
I did, because I want to let everybody know how much I hate Talon. Because I still think
he's really you just hate anybody that can kill you.
Oh no,
in half
that's
a
not
second.
that. I just don't like that he has his E is basically a passive. I think it's bullshit. I think everything else in his kit is fine except for E. Noxian Diplomacy base damage has been decreased from 80 to 160 to 60 to 160. Citing that his level 2 was too powerful, and the fact that he could just trade at any point in time with a Q when you tried to farm was too impressive.
That was more towards like his melee matchups because he was actually seeing some top lane play. We've seen it professionally too. Where
it was pretty annoying in the melee matchup, just doing anything.
It's an auto crit.
yeah, it basically.
W auto crit ignite and you're dead.
Yep.
Whoops. I got outplayed, I guess.
I mean, he could even just use it to get to you to W afterward and chase you down for the most part. And there's very little you could do about it if you weren't thinking about it ahead of time.
He's got one of the strong because that bleed damage at his early ranks is
his early opener and his ability to snowball against people who aren't paying attention was significant.
He's very good right now. I still like Talon a lot.
Of course you do. You like Graves. You son of a bitch.
I love Graves. I love Talon. I love Jace. He's still oppressive. Like, just give me all these champions.
You probably like new Gangplank too, like some kind of fucking asshole.
I mean, I did play a lot of Gangplank, but he's not as good anymore. He's not OP. He's just there.
Jinx had a change, which probably doesn't need to be mentioned, but will. Flame Chomper's cooldown has been decreased from 24 to 16 to 24 to 10.
You can go faster.
Yes, you can go faster. Big deal. She wasn't dropping that many Flame Chompers in a prolonged team fight at endgame anyway. You were using it to zone somebody off of getting to you rather than using it as a wide
right. I mean,
tool.
This was her last. I mean, still is her last rank ability and everything. So she gets it faster at a stage of the game where
she doesn't
having it faster isn't like you've either lost the game or she is so far ahead that it doesn't matter.
Correct.
Lucian fixed a bug where Lucian was able to basic attack during the culling if he fired
That
an
makes me
energized
so
attack
mad.
immediately before casting the culling. Some weird-ass bug interactions, but there you go. If you were abusing that, you can't anymore.
I mean, good on you if you were abusing that, because, man, I guess you figured it out somehow.
Yeah.
Supports Alistar passive triumphant roar now heals all nearby allies instead of the nearest ally.
Does this include minions?
They're not
Or is this
allies.
just for champions?
It doesn't say. I don't know. It used to only... Previously, it only worked on champions. I imagine this is still only champions, but let's see if there's other text that...
Because
all is nearby champions.
Okay,
so.
okay. Because I remember pre-mini rework Alistar, his heal did everything.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
E-trample cooldown was 16 to 14, is now 12 to 10. Empowered attack bonus was 40 plus 10 per level. It is now 40 plus 15 per level. And minions affected by trample now display the proper visual effects.
Okay. Dom, you play Alistar.
I'm really happy about this. Trample was always the ability that I felt like wasn't off cooldown when I wanted it to be off cooldown. And you have to work to actually get that trample passive to apply or something like that, which is good. Alistar needed that in his kit, but to just feel like it wasn't ever around when you wanted to have it, a second time or something was what was really frustrating. And so obviously, the numbers are clearly positive for him, but I think this is going to really help him out a lot. And then the passive thing is really nice because, man, the number of times where I didn't heal the person that I wanted to heal just due to weird proximity issues or something like that was higher than you would think, and that was really, really frustrating to me. So this is a nice, it's straight up a buff and everything, but it's going to feel more like a quality of life thing than anything else.
Mm-hmm.
Cool. We'll leave it there. Bard Meeps now gain 15 damage every 5 chimes in addition to other chime bonuses. The chime tier bonuses have been completely restructured. All damage tiers have been removed, and every tier now grants improved utility. And Bard can now hold a maximum of 9 Meeps if he collects enough chimes.
Okay, so I looked into this right when they announced the changes so that I would have some information available when we got to talking about it. There is a weird period between 60 and 120 chimes where he will, his damage breaks even, because right now your damage is just going to be higher from the meeps, and then right around 60 chimes between that and 120, there's this weird sort of back and forth where the new damage is stronger, then the old damage is stronger, and then the new one, but by and large this is just a huge set of buffs. Because you can get 9 meeps if you collect every single chime in the game for 42 minutes. That's what it takes to get to 9 meeps. So it's not like Bard's going to be running around terrorizing everyone with meeps. And then B, his damage is going to feel a lot smoother, and you're not going to get these weird spikes because you've done a really good job of collecting chimes.
Bard's going to get real close to being the best support again soon.
Oh, yeah.
I think he's the best. I think he'll be the best support in pro play. I don't know if I agree that he's going to be the best support for everyday players, just because of how hard you have to commit to the meep collecting minigame to get a lot of these really good bonuses.
What was max meeps before?
There isn't a max.
There wasn't a max meeps before this change?
Yeah, but there still isn't. It just keeps going.
Well, it says he can hold a maximum of 9 meeps. What was the max he could hold?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Before?
I thought you said
chimes. Sorry, not chimes, sorry.
Max meeps before was 4. So it's a big
that's
increase in that regard.
Because even just going from, obviously getting, you said 42 minutes every chime for 9, probably not going to happen. But even just going to 6, that's so many extra slows.
Right. Slows and burst damage.
And the slow, you get the bonus slow. Most of the big increases of the slow come early on. Mm-hmm. You get that by 45 meeps. You have a pretty big slow going on. 55%. Yeah. Whereas to max out the slow, you had to get 145 chimes before. So
Oh man.
You know, overall, obviously, just a clear set of buffs to Bard that he really needed. I don't know that this suddenly makes him a terror in anything other than the most skilled hands, but I do think, like at the pro level, this is a huge set of changes.
Oh yeah, no, I agree. I just like seeing Bard because I think he's a very interesting support, and it's nice when you have some variation other than Karma Zyra throwing skill shots at you and trying to kill you.
I'll give you that.
I think this pushes him. Yeah, I agree with you. I think this pushes him right back up there and makes him much more appealing to players that are looking to up their support game. And
you got to work. Like, you're going to expect to put in the time on Bard because he's not an easy champion, and you really need to know and understand when you can and can't leave and go.
Especially that ultimate, man. That ultimate is just ridiculously hard to use properly. You can. Yeah. It's so make or break. But you
can fuck up easily, and you can fuck your team easily, and you can miss it really easily.
Mm-hmm. Let's talk about Lulu, because this was an interesting bug that happened that people didn't report to right away. But last patch, Lulu's Whimsy polymorph effect wasn't properly canceling or interrupting certain effects and abilities. So that's a nice change here.
I definitely had a couple moments where I certainly felt like I used Whimsy and it didn't really interrupt them properly. And I figured, okay, I must have just mistimed it or something. So... and that may still be what happened there. I don't know the conditions that were causing this, but I'm going to say that I felt this one.
All right. Also, I don't know if you guys mentioned this on last cast or the one before, but the W got hotfixed.
Yep.
So Merc Treads and other CC reduction would affect Whimsy. It wasn't properly doing it before.
It wasn't properly doing it at the start of the patch. It was properly doing it prior to the patch.
Okay, yeah. Well, they hotfixed it last patch, so it was doing it again properly.
The very last thing in this patch that some of you may have been taking advantage of was that ward-like structures or items on the map were giving you lifesteal when you attack them. Examples being Yorick's Wall, Malzahar's Void Swarm, and Lowie's Prophet of the Elder God Tentacles, Callista's W, Sentinel Ghost, and then like Nidalee's W or Teemo Shrooms. If you attack them, you were getting lifesteal, and you can no longer get lifesteal from them. So just something to keep in mind.
Yeah. I still think the Voidling one's a little weird because that's not like an object. That's an actual kind of creature. And I feel like I could lifesteal off that. The other ones I'm okay with.
Inexplicably, Xin Zhao and Aurelia can still heal off of towers.
It's because they're just it's the fury of
because
battle.
They're so dedicated to the cause.
And somehow we made it through patch 7.7 in under an hour.
We did it.
Probably because we just jumped right into it in the very beginning and didn't fuck around for 15 minutes jerking each other off. So,
should we quick talk about the client change?
The client change?
They added an optional toggle in the settings that allows players to close the client while in-game. Enabling this will improve your in-game FPS. However, it increases the amount of time it takes to return to the scoreboard screen at the end of the game.
Oh, I guess that's if you are running on a Celeron processor with an old 17-year-old card. This might help you. But otherwise, you probably don't need it.
The last couple new client patches have really upped FPS for a lot of people. I know they've been working on that. And I was reading some Red posts, and they're looking like they're going to roll out, like get rid of the legacy client sooner rather than later in like the next month or two.
I actually thought they had already done that.
No, the legacy client is still around. We're still kind of in like that beta, not beta, new client phase still.
Is everyone on the new one, or?
I am now. Yeah.
Sean?
Yeah, I've been on it. So, I got real sad when I switched, and I was like, I'm so confused. And
then you use it for 30 minutes. You're like, oh yeah, okay.
Well, it was more. For whatever reason, I was having a lot of issue when I'd get into Champion Select for like the first 2 weeks after I updated that I'd have a black screen on the client until about 15 seconds into Champion Select. Yeah. Which that latency in itself was super fucking annoying when you're the first person to ban.
I had that happen to me a lot too.
Yeah, that's mostly been fixed now. So if you, for whatever reason, you weren't using the new client because you had bad experiences or it wasn't working, give it a shot again. Yeah. Give it a shot. It should be fine. If not, send a report in. getting very close to getting it optimized.
If you do a lot of chatting, you might not want to upgrade yet. I have a problem with their chat interface right now because one, you can't bring it up during Champ Select anymore, and
yeah,
two,
that's annoying.
I like the old tabbing at the bottom better than the tabbing inside of a screen. I think they just need to. I think the tabbing inside of like a box rather is advantageous for the client because it cleans it up. But I think they just need to make it a little bit more user friendly because right now it's kind of hard to distinguish between chats and whatnot. That's just personal gripe.
Yeah, I don't like that.
But if you need the chat, come join our Discord. There's plenty of space for that there.
Boom! Discord.trinityforcenetwork.com.
Yep.
Lots of people chatting during the day in there. It is a hopping place. So, cool. That's it, guys. That's patch 7.7, episode number 430 of the Trinity Force podcast. Thank you, everybody sitting in this room for talking about League of Legends, and thank you, everybody out there, for listening to us. We will be back on Monday with another League of Legends episode. So, guys, we will see you then. Have a good evening.
See ya.
Doodles.